He told everyone he was straight. He told me too. Then he pinned me against a classroom wall and kissed me like he was furious that he needed me to breathe. 2 years. 2 years of him holding my wrist in public like a warning. 2 years of him saying, "If I choose you, I choose you. Don't ever doubt that." But I did. His mother asked me to leave. Said I was destroying his future. Said he deserved a wife, children, a clean life. So I decided for him. I vanished. No explanation. No fight. No trust. Years later, I step into a boardroom and meet his eyes at the head of the table. CO. Power carved into his posture. Cold. Untouchable. Recognition hits. His expression doesn't soften. It hardens. After the meeting, the room empties. He doesn't sit. He stands. Slow. Controlled. Angry. "Do you know," he says quietly, "what I hate the most?" My throat tightens. "You didn't leave because you stopped loving me." His jaw clenches. "You left because you thought you knew better than me." He steps closer. Not desperate. Not longing. Furious. "You decided my future." His voice drops. "Like I was too weak to choose you." I can't speak. His eyes burn, not with love. With betrayal. "I would have burned the whole world for you," he says. "And you didn't even give me the chance." Silence. Heavy. Then coldly, "You don't get to come back and look at me like I'm the villain." His gaze drags over me, sharp and punishing. "You made your choice." A beat. "Now live with mine." Welcome to BL Without Labels, where the story isn't defined by words. Stay with the story. Support us. Title: He Hates Me for Leaving But Never Let Me Go. Chapter 1: The CEO. My name is Ethan Cole, 26. Newly hired operations manager at Vanguard Crest Corporation. I built this version of myself carefully, composed, efficient, untouchable. The kind of man who doesn't make reckless emotional decisions. The kind of man who doesn't fall for straight boys. The boardroom doors open. My first official meeting. I step inside, and my breath hitches so violently it hurts. At the head of the table sits Alexander Hayes. CEO. My past. The one I loved. The one I left. The one I thought I was saving. Alexander doesn't react immediately. He doesn't have to. Power clings to him now. Tailored charcoal suit. Watch glinting against his wrist. Posture relaxed but commanding. Everyone else sits straighter because he's there. Then his eyes lift. They land on me. Recognition is instant. And it isn't soft. It's sharp. Controlled. Burning. Alexander Hayes. In high school, he was untouchable. Quarterback. Honor roll. The boy every girl wanted and every teacher praised. He used to laugh when people assumed things about him. "I'm straight," he'd say easily. Until the day he shoved me into an empty classroom after practice. "You make me question that," he whispered, gripping my collar like he was angry at himself. We were best friends first. Late-night study sessions. His arms slung over my shoulders. His head in my lap while I read out loud. He trusted me with everything. Family pressure, expectations, the weight of being perfect. Then one night, he kissed me like he was choosing war. 2 years. 2 years of him holding my hand in empty hallways. 2 years of him saying, "If I pick you, I pick you. Don't ever decide for me." But I did. His mother invited me over during senior year. Sat across from me in their polished kitchen and spoke calmly. "He deserves a normal future," she said. "A wife, children, stability. Don't derail him." I thought love meant sacrifice. So I left without a word. No explanation. No fight. I told myself he'd heal. That he'd marry someone kind. That he'd forget the boy who complicated his life. He did none of that. And now he's my CEO. Back in the boardroom, silence stretches too long. My colleagues don't notice the history crackling between us. But he does. Alexander leans back slightly in his chair, fingers steepled. "Mr. Cole," he says evenly, voice deeper than I remember. Colder. "You'll be overseeing operations restructuring. Professional. Distant. Like we've never memorized each other's heartbeat." But his jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. Because he knows. I didn't leave for myself. I left for him, and he hates me for it. Chapter 2. Before it broke. I don't sleep. The city lights bleed through the blinds, striping my ceiling in pale gold and shadow. Every time I close my eyes, I see him at the head of that table. Cold, controlled. Nothing like the boy who used to fall asleep on my shoulder during chemistry. So I let the past come, because it's louder than the present anyway. High school started with distance. Alexander Hayes was already a name people said with admiration. Captain of the football team, perfect grades, effortlessly charming. Girls orbiting him like planets. I was just Ethan Cole, quiet, observant, the kid teachers liked because I never caused trouble. We became friends by accident. A group project. He forgot his notes. I had mine color-coded. He grinned at me like I'd saved his life. Guess I'm sticking with you, he said. And he did. Started small. Sitting next to me at lunch instead of his teammates. Texting me at midnight about homework. Then about everything else. Lying on my bedroom floor after practice. Staring at the ceiling while I quizzed him for exams. He would talk about pressure like it was a physical thing sitting on his chest. You ever feel like you're playing a role all the time? He asked once. I remember shrugging. You're good at it. He looked at me then. Not laughing. Not with you. That was the first crack. The change wasn't dramatic. It was slow. Intentional. He started touching me without thinking. A hand on my waist to guide me through crowded halls. Fingers brushing mine when he passed me a pen. Sitting too close. People noticed. He didn't care. One afternoon after practice, rain pouring outside, we were alone in the locker room. He was frustrated, angry about something his father had said. I told him he didn't have to prove anything to anyone. He grabbed my shirt. Not violently, desperately. You don't get it, he said. I don't care about any of that when I'm with you. My heart was pounding too hard. Alex, he exhaled sharply. I'm straight, he muttered, like convincing himself. Then he kissed me, like he was furious it felt right. After that, he didn't step back. He leaned in. He held my hand in empty corridors. Sat with his thigh pressed against mine under cafeteria tables. Told me quietly, if I choose you, I choose you. Don't ever make that decision for me. He was dominant even then. Possessive in the way he looked at me. Protective in the way he stood between me and anyone who talked too long. He changed slowly. From confusion, to acceptance, to certainty. He stopped saying he was straight. He started saying, you're mine. And I believed him. 2 years of stolen kisses, whispered promises, and plans we were too young to understand. 2 years of him reshaping his world around us. And in the dark of my apartment now, I realized something that hurts more than his anger in that boardroom. He didn't hesitate. Not once. When he chose me, I was the one who did. Chapter 3. The hatred in his eyes. When we were in love, Alexander never got angry at me. Not once. He was intense with everyone else, competitive, dominant, sharp-tongued when provoked. But with me, he was patient. Possessive, yes. If someone flirted with me, his hand would settle on my lower back. If I looked tired, he'd cancel his own plans to walk me home. If I said something careless and hurt him without realizing, he wouldn't lash out. He would just pull me closer and say quietly, talk to me. Don't shut me out. Even when I doubted us. Even when I asked, what if you regret this one day? He'd cup my face, eyes steady. I don't regret choosing you. He wasn't reckless. He was certain. He remembered my exam schedules better than I did. Forced me to eat. Fell asleep with his arm around my waist like it belonged there. Sometimes I used to think, he would make an incredible husband. The kind who wakes up early to make coffee. The kind who listens. The kind who doesn't walk away. And that's exactly why I left. I thought I was protecting that future. I thought if I stepped aside, he'd have everything. A wife, children, a life without whispers. I imagined him smiling beside someone beautiful. I imagined him moving on. He didn't. I found out slowly through old classmates. He never dated seriously again. Threw himself into university, into work, into building an empire. And his mother? He stopped talking to her. Not loudly, not dramatically. He just distanced himself, as if something between them fractured the year I disappeared. He never searched for me, but he never replaced me either. And today, in that boardroom, when his eyes met mine, there was no softness, no patience, no quiet understanding, only hatred, not the explosive kind, the controlled kind, the kind that forms when someone you trusted makes a choice for you. Lying awake now, staring at the ceiling, one question keeps repeating. Did I ruin him instead of saving him? I thought I was giving him happiness. Instead, he built success like armor. And the boy who once looked at me like I was home, now looks at me like I'm the reason he doesn't believe in it anymore. Chapter 4. What do I do with his hatred? His eyes were full of hatred. Not loud, not wild, controlled, contained, directed at me. That look followed me for days after the meeting. It sat in my chest like something unfinished, something sharp. I told myself to stay professional. I told myself I deserved it. Then his mother called. I almost didn't go, but curiosity or guilt pulled me to the quiet restaurant she chose. She looked different, softer, older. When she saw me, her expression cracked. "Ethan," she said, standing up too quickly. "Thank you for coming." I bowed my head slightly, respectful, distant. She didn't waste time. "I owe you an apology." The words stunned me more than anger would have. "I thought I was protecting my son," she continued. "I thought separating you would give him a better life." My throat tightened. "That year, after you left, he changed." Her voice lowered. "He didn't scream. He didn't argue. He just shut down. I could see it. I already had. He stopped bringing friends home, stopped sharing things with me. He focused only on building something big enough to stand alone. Alone. He never dated seriously," she added. "And he never let me speak about you. Not once." I looked down at my hands. "I thought he'd be happier," I whispered. She shook her head slowly. "He didn't need a different future. He needed the right to choose it." That hit harder than anything, because that was exactly what Alexander had begged me not to take from him. "Don't ever decide for me." His mother reached across the table. "I'm sorry for separating you. Truly. If there's still something between you, don't let pride ruin it. Don't run again." But she doesn't see his eyes now. She doesn't see the hatred. Back at the office, I feel it again the moment I step into the executive floor. His presence is suffocating. Alexander is standing near the glass wall of his office when I knock. The city stretches behind him, a kingdom he built without me. "Come in," he says without turning. I step inside. He faces me slowly. There it is again. That look. Not love. Not longing. Hatred sharpened by betrayal. "You needed something, Mr. Cole?" he asks. Coolly. Professional. Like we're strangers. I swallow. "I met your mother." Something flickers. Brief. Dangerous. "And she apologized." His jaw tightens. "I didn't ask her to." Silence presses between us. "I thought leaving would make you happy," I say quietly. "I thought I was giving you the life you deserved." He steps closer. Slow. Measured. His voice lowers. "You thought," he repeats. His eyes burn now, not explosive but wounded and furious at the same time. "You decided I couldn't handle loving you," he says. "You decided I'd be better without you." His gaze locks onto mine. "Do you know what that does to a person?" I can't answer. He laughs once. Cold. "You don't get to fix this because my mother feels guilty now." His expression hardens again, walls slamming back into place. "You made your choice, Ethan." A pause. "And I learned how to live with it." His eyes still hold hatred, but beneath it, there's something else, something unresolved. The question isn't what his mother said. The question is, do I fight for someone who looks at me like I'm the worst mistake of his life? Or do I leave again and prove him right? Chapter 5. You don't get to decide. I should have walked away. I should have let his anger stay where it was, sharp, distant, safe. But I didn't. I thought I was protecting you, I say quietly, standing in the middle of his office like I'm back in high school again. Small under the weight of him, Alexander lets out a humorless laugh. Protecting me? He repeats. He moves closer. Not rushed. Not wild. Controlled. You were the one who decided for me, he says, voice low and steady. You chose my future. You chose my happiness. You chose my ending. His eyes lock onto mine. And I never accepted it. My heart stutters. I'm not marrying anyone, he continues. Not because I can't. A step closer. Because I won't. His jaw tightens. You thought I'd replace you. That I'd build the life you designed for me. He shakes his head slowly. I built this, he gestures around the office, the skyline, the empire. Because it was the only thing I could control after you took the rest. The words hit hard. I didn't forgive you, he says bluntly. Not then. Not now. There's no shouting. No dramatic rage. Just honesty sharpened into something dangerous. You want to know how your decision reflected? He asks. His voice lowers further. I stopped believing in promises. Another step. Stopped trusting anyone who says they love me. He stands close enough now that I can feel the heat of him. You taught me that the person who claims to love you the most can still walk away without giving you a choice. My throat tightens. He looks at me the way he did in the boardroom, hatred layered over something deeper. You made a decision for both of us, he says. So here's mine. A long pause. You don't get forgiveness. His eyes don't waver. You don't get to ease your guilt. And then, softer but far more cutting. You stay. My breath catches. You work under me. You face me every day. You watch exactly what your sacrifice created. His expression hardens. And maybe then, he murmurs, you'll understand what it feels like to have your choice taken away. For the first time since I saw him again, I realized something terrifying. He's not trying to punish me. He's trying to make me feel exactly what I made him feel. Chapter 6. This time, I stay. I didn't expect her to call me again. I know my son, Mrs. Hayes says over tea in her quiet living room. He doesn't hate you. I almost laugh. You didn't see his eyes, I tell her. They were full of it. She studies me calmly. No, she says. They were full of hurt. The words settle slowly. He is behaving like this because you didn't choose him, she continues. You chose what you thought was best. Not him. My chest tightens. He doesn't forgive easily, she adds. But if he truly hated you, you wouldn't be working there. I look up. He could have rejected your application. He could have transferred you. Fired you. I didn't think about that. He kept you close, she says quietly. That is not hatred. That is someone who still hasn't finished loving. Silence fills the room. What should I do? Ask. Don't run, she answers immediately. I will create reasons for you to stay beside him. Official reasons. Projects. Travel. You just do one thing. What? Choose him this time. She keeps her word. Within a week, I'm reassigned directly under Alexander for a restructuring project that requires daily meetings, strategy reviews, late-night reports, business trips that can't be delegated, professional excuses, intentional proximity. The first time he sees the updated structure chart, his eyes narrow slightly. You'll be working closely with me, he says flatly. Yes. He studies me for a long moment. I don't look away. Not this time. Days turn into tension. He's strict, demanding, cold in meetings. But I start noticing the cracks. He still pushes a cup of coffee toward me during late nights without looking up. Still corrects others sharply if they question my decisions. Still watches me when he thinks I don't notice. Hatred doesn't look like that. One evening, we're alone in the office again. The city lights reflect off the glass. You don't have to stay, he says suddenly, not looking at me. I know. Then why are you? There it is. The real question. I take a breath. Because I was wrong. He goes still. I thought leaving would protect you. I continue. But it only protected my fear. He turns slowly. I should have chosen you openly, fought for you, trusted you. His expression tightens. I won't leave again, I say firmly. Even if you hate me, even if you never forgive me. The silence stretches. He steps closer. Not soft, not gentle. You don't get to decide that either, he says quietly. I nod. You're right. My voice doesn't shake. So this time you decide. Something shifts in his EY. Something shifts in his eyes. Not forgiveness, but conflict. I hold his gaze. I won't run to save you from me, I whisper. If being with me ruins your life, let it be because you chose it. The air between us feels charged. For the first time since I came back, his hatred wavers, just slightly, and I realize something important. This isn't about proving I didn't ruin him. It's about standing beside him long enough for him to see. He was never something I needed to protect. He was someone I should have trusted. Chapter 7, Running from the Fade. The night I told him to decide, something shifted. Not loudly, but I saw it. The hatred in his eyes cracked. Just for a second. And that terrified him. The next morning, Alexander Hayes is colder than ever. Professional. Distant. Efficient. He doesn't look at me during meetings. Doesn't linger. Doesn't let silence stretch the way he used to. If I enter a room, he finds a reason to leave. If I stay late, he sends instructions through his assistant instead of speaking to me directly. He's not punishing me. He's avoiding me, running. Because the anger he's been holding onto for years is fading, and he doesn't know who he is without it. In the conference room, I present quarterly projections. He doesn't interrupt, doesn't challenge, doesn't even glance at me, but his fingers tap once against the table when I speak. The same unconscious habit he had in high school when he was unsettled. After the meeting, I catch up to him in the hallway. Are you avoiding me? I ask quietly. He doesn't stop walking. I'm busy. That's not what I asked. He finally turns. His expression is calm. Too calm. You wanted me to decide, he says evenly. This is me deciding. To what? To keep things professional. His eyes hold mine for a fraction too long before sliding away. He's lying. Not with words. With distance. That night, I stay late intentionally. The office is almost empty when I hear his footsteps behind me. I don't turn. You forgot this, he says, placing a file on my desk. His voice is controlled, but closer now. I didn't, I reply softly. Silence. The air feels heavy. You don't have to run, I say. His jaw tightens. I'm not running. You are. He steps closer suddenly. Not aggressive, but intense. I am trying not to forget, he says quietly. My heart pounds. Forget what? How angry I'm supposed to be. There it is. Raw. Honest. He exhales sharply. You don't get to come back and make it easy, he continues. You don't get to say the right things and expect everything to soften. I'm not asking for easy. Then what are you asking for? I look up at him. For you to stop pretending you hate me more than you miss me. The words land between us. Heavy. His eyes darken, not with hatred now. With conflict. With exhaustion. He turns away slightly, running a hand through his hair. You think this is simple? He murmurs. If I let this go. If I let you back in. He looks at me again. Vulnerable for the first time. I have to admit I never stopped loving you. Silence swallows the space. He steps back. Walls rising again. That's not something I'm ready to forgive, he says. But this time, it doesn't sound like hatred. Sounds like fear. And I finally understand. He isn't running because he hates me. He's running because the anger was the only thing protecting his heart. And it's slipping. Chapter 8. When the anger broke, continued. Yesterday I saw it clearly. Not hatred. Not even anger. Love. Buried. Guarded. But alive. So I stopped being careful. If he was going to hide behind CEO composure, I was going to ruin it. Completely. I leaned into it, full flirting mode. Not subtle. Not safe. Dangerous. During a document review, I stepped behind him instead of beside him. close enough that my shoulder brushed his. "You're tense," I murmured lightly. "Board pressure or me?" His pen paused mid-signature. "Focus on the numbers, Ethan." But his ears? Red. Bright red. I bit back a smile. Later, in the hallway, I blocked his path casually, placing one hand against the wall beside him. Cornered. Just slightly. He stilled instantly. His breath changed first, shallow, controlled. "You're standing in my way," he said evenly. "Am I?" I tilted my head, studying him. "Strange. You used to like it when I stood this close." His jaw flexed. His eyes dropped to my lips for half a second before snapping back up. "I'm your CEO," he warned quietly. "And I'm your unfinished business," I replied just as softly. The air shifted. Electric. He didn't move, didn't push me away, but I could feel it, the tension coiled tight under his skin. Years of restraint. Years of pretending he didn't want this. "You're playing a dangerous game," he murmured. I leaned closer, close enough that my breath brushed his cheek. "You're the one who said I don't get to decide anymore," I whispered. "So decide." His hands curled at his sides. He was holding himself back. Not from anger, from reaching for me. The redness in his ears deepened. His composure was cracking. And for the first time since I walked back into his life, he wasn't running. He was fighting himself. And I could see it clearly now. The anger didn't break because it disappeared. It broke because love was stronger. And no matter how powerful Alexander Hayes became, he was still the boy who couldn't hide what he felt when I stood too close. Chapter 9, the night he finally broke. After cornering him yesterday, I didn't slow down. If anything, I became worse. A menace. In the morning meeting, I leaned across the table a little too close. "Mr. Hayes," I said innocently, "you're staring again." "I'm evaluating performance," he replied flatly. "Am I performing well?" A few team members coughed awkwardly. His ears turned red. Again. In the hallway, I widened my eyes dramatically when he appeared behind me. "You scared me," I said, pressing a hand to my chest. "For a second, I thought my ex was haunting me." "I am haunting you," he muttered under his breath, but his lips twitched. The anger was thinning faster now, which made him more guarded. That evening, we had a team dinner. Warm lighting, laughter, glasses clinking. Alexander doesn't drink often. Tonight he does. Not reckless, but enough. Enough that the control in his shoulders loosens. Enough that the CEO mask slips. By the time everyone is ready to leave, he's quiet. Watching nothing. Saying nothing. "I'll take him home," I say before anyone else can volunteer. No one questions it. They don't know history when it's standing in front of them. In his apartment, the city glows through the glass walls. I help him inside, steadying him by the waist. He doesn't pull away. He sinks onto the couch, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor. For a long time, he says nothing. Then, "You really thought I'd be happier without you?" His voice is hoarse. Not angry. Broken. I kneel in front of him instinctively. "I waited," he says, swallowing hard. "Every day. I thought you'd text. Call. Something." His hands tremble slightly. "I checked my phone like an idiot. My vision blurs. I thought maybe you were scared. I would have fixed it. I would have fought anyone." His eyes lift to mine. Red. Glassy. "But you left me with nothing." The words aren't sharp. They're shattered. "I wasn't angry at first," he admits quietly. "I couldn't breathe." A tear slips down his cheek. "I thought I wasn't enough. That loving me was a mistake you corrected." My chest caves in. "No," I whisper immediately. "Never. I stopped talking to my mom for months," he continues. "Not because I hated her." His jaw tightens. "Because she proved something. I already know what. That if I loved you, I could still lose you." Silence floods the room. I reach for his hands. He doesn't resist. "I built everything," he says softly. "This company, this control, this version of me." His voice breaks completely. "So I wouldn't feel how empty it was without you." His hand dragged through his hair. You left me when I needed you the most. His composure fractured. I begged you not to decide for me, he said, voice breaking through anger. And you still did. Silence pressed between us. I waited, he admitted bitterly. For months. Like an idiot. My throat tightened. I kept thinking you'd walk back in and say you were scared, that you trusted me, that I mattered enough. His eyes met mine fully now. Red. Burning. You don't get to come back now and act like I'm the same person. I know you're not, I whispered. Good, he snapped. Because I'm not that boy anymore. A tear escaped him and he wiped it away roughly. I don't need you, he repeated, quieter this time. I taught myself not to. The anger was still there, but beneath it, pain, unresolved, shaking. He laughed bitterly. You want to know what's worse? He said. Even now, part of me still reacts to you, still wants you. His jaw tightened. And I hate that. I stepped closer again, carefully. I'm not asking you to need me, I said softly. I'm asking you to choose me. He went still. That's the difference. His breathing was uneven. For a moment, I thought he would push me away. Instead, he turned back toward the window. I don't forgive you, he said hoarsely. I know. I don't trust you. I know. Silence stretched. But I also don't know how to completely stop loving you. That confession sounded like defeat to him. Not romance. Defeat. He closed his eyes briefly. You hurt me in a way I can't erase, he said quietly. So don't expect me to fall back into your arms just because you're here. I won't, I answered. Another long pause. I don't need you, he said one last time. But this time, it didn't sound like pride. It sounded like something he had forced himself to learn, and something he wasn't entirely sure he believed anymore. Chapter 10. The day I disappeared again. I didn't go to work. For once, the sick leave wasn't an excuse. My eyes were swollen when I woke up. My chest felt tight, like something had been pressing on it all night. Every word he said kept replaying. I don't need you anymore. I taught myself not to. Maybe he had. Maybe I came back too late. I texted HR. Fever. Personal leave. Would return tomorrow. That part was true. The fever came after the crying. I wasn't ready to see him. Not after watching him fight himself like that. Not after realizing loving me still felt like weakness to him. I told myself space would help. Didn't. By noon, my phone buzzed. A message from his assistant. Mr. Hayes asked if the revised report was completed. Professional. Cold. I typed back. On medical leave. Will send tomorrow. 3 minutes later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Why didn't you tell me? His voice. Not drunk. Not soft. Controlled. I informed HR. I said quietly. I asked why you didn't tell me. Silence. Because I didn't want you to see me weak. Because I'm scared of what you'll say next. Because I almost believed you don't need me. I didn't think it mattered. I answered instead. A sharp inhale on the other end. Where are you? At home. I'm coming. The line went dead. 40 minutes later, my doorbell rang. I stared at it for a long moment before opening it. Alexander stood there in a dark coat. Hair slightly disheveled like he left in a hurry. His eyes scanned my face immediately. Red. Swollen. He stepped inside without asking. You look terrible, he said bluntly. You're very kind. Shut up. The door closed behind him. The silence felt different today. Less angry. More tense. You disappeared, he said after a moment. It's one day. You don't get to disappear. The words hit harder than he probably intended. My throat tightened. You said you didn't need me? I reminded him quietly. His jaw clenched. That doesn't mean I don't. He stopped. Frustration flashed across his face. I don't like not knowing where you are, he finished instead. Something warm and painful spread in my chest. I wasn't avoiding work, I said softly. I just needed a day. Because of last night? I didn't answer. That was answer enough. His expression shifted. Not anger. Regret. He stepped closer. I was drunk. You were honest. Silence. His gaze softened just slightly. I meant what I said, he admitted. I learned how to live without you. My heart braced. But I also meant the other part. My breath caught. I don't know how to completely stop loving you. The air between us felt fragile. He exhaled slowly. When you didn't show up today, he said quietly, I realized something. I looked at him. The thought of you leaving again, even for a day, made me furious. A small, broken laugh escaped him. I guess I'm not as detached as I thought. The anger from last night wasn't gone. But it wasn't ruling him either. He stepped closer, careful this time. Don't disappear, he said, not as an order, as a request. I swallowed. I won't. For the first time since I came back. He wasn't pushing me away. He wasn't claiming he didn't need me. He was just standing there, trying to unlearn the damage we both caused. And maybe that was progress. Chapter 11, mine. I didn't expect jealousy to look like that. Started small. A new investor flew in from London, tall, charming, confident. He shook my hand a little longer than necessary during the presentation. You're the brains behind this restructuring? He asked with a smile. I'm part of the team, I replied politely. Alexander was at the head of the table, silent, watching. The investor kept directing questions at me. Compliments. Subtle, harmless flirting wrapped in professionalism. I answered calmly, but I could feel it. The temperature in the room shifting. Alexander's jaw tightening. His fingers tapping once against the table, that old habit. After the meeting ended, the investor laughed lightly. Perhaps we could continue this discussion over dinner, Mr. Cole? Before I could respond, a hand settled firmly on my lower back. Warm, possessive, familiar. Alexander stepped beside me. Not rushed, not dramatic, but unmistakable. That won't be necessary, he said smoothly. Mr. Cole already has dinner plans. I blinked. I do. His grip tightened slightly. Yes, he replied without looking at me. The investor glanced between us, sensing something. Oh, I see. Do you? Because the entire room just did. Alexander didn't remove his hand. He didn't hide it either. When the others left, whispers trailed behind them. He waited until we were alone in the hallway before turning to me. You enjoyed that? He asked quietly. Enjoyed what? The attention. I tilted my head. Are you jealous? His eyes darkened instantly. I don't get jealous. You do. A beat. He stepped closer. You're mine. The words weren't loud. They weren't even angry. They were certain. My heart pounded. In case you forgot, he continued, voice low, controlled but burning underneath. I may have said I don't need you. His fingers curled slightly against my waist. But I never said I stopped wanting you. The hallway was empty, but visible from glass walls. Public enough. He didn't care. You think I'd let someone else look at you like that? He murmured. I don't belong to anyone, I said softly, testing. His gaze sharpened. Wrong. And then, without hesitation, he pulled me closer. Not desperate. Claiming. His lips brushed mine. Not soft, not gentle, but deliberate. A statement. When he pulled back, his forehead rested lightly against mine. Let them talk, he said quietly. Let them speculate. His thumb traced once along my jaw. You wanted me to decide. His eyes held mine, no hatred left, only fire. I'm choosing you. And this time, he wasn't letting the world, his mother, or me take that choice away again. Chapter 12, The Quiet After. The first night in the apartment didn't feel dramatic. No champagne. No speeches. No declarations echoing against bare walls. Just boxes. Dust in the late afternoon light. And him standing in the doorway, sleeves rolled up, looking like he'd always belonged there. He carried the heavier boxes without being asked. Didn't make a show of it. Didn't tease. Just did it. You don't have to do all of that, I said, watching him move through the space like it was already ours. I know, he replied simply. That was the thing about him. He never helped to be praised. He helped because he decided something mattered. And once he decided, it was done. Later, the apartment was quieter, half unpacked, the city lights flickering through the curtains. I sat cross-legged on the floor sorting through old files when he came up behind me. He didn't speak. He just placed his jacket over my shoulders, the fabric still warm from his body. "You'll get cold," he muttered. I smiled. Years ago, I would have tried to look composed, capable, impressive, perfect. Now I didn't bother. Because when someone stands between you and the world without announcing it, you don't need armor. You just breathe. A memory flickered. Years back. A board meeting that went wrong. His mother questioning my place in the company in front of everyone. I had stood there, chin lifted, pretending it didn't sting. He hadn't raised his voice, hadn't caused a scene. He simply said, calm and cold, "If she leaves, I leave." Silence. That was the first time I realized something dangerous. He didn't protect loudly. He protected permanently. "Why are you looking at me like that?" he asked now, leaning against the kitchen counter. "Like what?" "Like I'm about to disappear." I stood and walked toward him. "You won't," I said. He studied me. There was no anger in him tonight. No sharp edges. Just steadiness. And that steadiness, that's what felt intimate. "I've been with you for years," I said quietly. "I know who you are." He lifted a brow. "And who am I?" I stepped close enough to feel his breath. "You're the kind of man who pretends he doesn't need anyone," I said, "but makes sure the person he loves never has to stand alone." Something shifted in his eyes, softened. He reached up and tucked a strand of hair behind my ear, careful, almost shy. "You don't have to be perfect with me," he said. "I know." That was new. Not the words, the belief. We stood there in the middle of half-built shelves and unpacked boxes. No audience, no tension, just the quiet weight of choosing each other. He wrapped his arms around me slowly, not claiming this time, holding. And I realized something I hadn't before. Husband material isn't about grand gestures. It's about who locks the door at night without being asked, who remembers how you take your coffee, who stands slightly closer when someone makes you uncomfortable, who listens when you're silent. His hand rested at my lower back. Familiar. Home. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was proving anything. I was just with him, exactly like we are now. Tonight, the rain taps softly against the windows. The apartment smells like detergent and the dinner he insisted on cooking himself. He stands in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, hair slightly messy, arguing with a stubborn lid. "Husband material," I murmur under my breath. He glances at me. "What? Nothing?" I smile, leaning against the counter. He walks over, slow and deliberate. That look in his eyes, not anger anymore, not resentment, claim. His fingers slide under my chin, tilting my face up. "You've been staring at me for 5 minutes. Maybe I like what I see." Faint smirk. "You always did." The tension between us isn't sharp anymore. It's warm, heavy, familiar. Later, when the lights are off and the room is dim with rain shadow, I feel it again, that flash of memory. All the years, the distance, the pain, the nights I thought I lost him for good. His hand brushes my waist and I freeze. Not from fear, but from how much it means. "You're thinking again," he murmurs. "I wasted so much time." His hand tightens slightly. "We're here now." That's the thing about him. He doesn't let me drown in regret. He pulls me back to the present. When he kisses me, it isn't rushed. It's slow, intentional, as if he's memorizing me. His thumb traces my jaw. My breath stutters. The air between us thickens, charged with everything we never got to say. "I don't need you to be strong all the time," he whispers against my skin. "You don't have to act perfect with me." Something inside me cracks open. All those years of pretending, of acting unaffected, of swallowing feelings so I wouldn't look weak. I press closer, hands gripping his shirt, not wanting distance ever again. "You protect me," I admit softly. So I don't have to protect myself all the time. He exhales like that confession mattered. It did. The closeness grows deeper, not wild, not reckless, but intense in a way that feels earned. Every touch carries history. Every breath carries forgiveness. Every heartbeat says stay. When he pulls me into his chest afterward, holding me firmly like I might disappear, I realize something. This isn't just passion. It's relief. Relief that we survived ourselves. Relief that he didn't let me go. Relief that I came back. His lips brush my hair. Don't run again. I won't. And this time, I mean it. Special chapter before the empire, before the hate. Back then, he didn't own companies. He owned the back row of our classroom. He sat by the window, sunlight cutting across his jaw, pretending not to care about anything, except he always cared about me. I just didn't know how deeply. He used to wait, every morning, leaning against the corridor wall like he just happened to be there, like timing his arrival with mine wasn't deliberate. Late again, he would mutter. I'm not late. You are. But he would always take my bag anyway. Dominant even then, quietly territorial. If someone got too close, his hand would land on my shoulder, casual, possessive. Busy, he'd say without looking at them, and I would laugh it off. I thought he was just intense. I didn't realize he was already choosing me. There was a day in second year, sports festival. The whole field smelled like dust and sweat and cheap soda. He didn't care about winning until I cheered for someone else. His eyes changed, not jealous in a childish way, something deeper, darker. After the event, he cornered me behind the equipment shed. You were loud for him. So, you're only that loud for me. My heart had slammed against my ribs. Since when? Since always. He didn't smile when he said it. He meant it. That was the first time I saw it clearly, the way his control slipped when it came to me. He studied hard for my sake. Stayed up late because I said I wanted to go to a better university. He'd fall asleep on his desk, pen still in hand, pretending he wasn't exhausted. When I'd shake him awake, he'd mumble, if you're going, I'm going. Not romantic, not poetic, just certain. He loved like that, certain. If you were in my place, would you fight for him again? Or would you walk away? For good this time? Comment below. What is the moment that breaks you? Like if you believe he still loves me. Subscribe BL without labels to see what happens when past love meets present power. Because story? That's secret wait for tomorrow.